Hey guys, okay, let me get to the live chat. Sorry, I'm a little late. I had a situation, but okay. My computer's messing with me. So in the meantime, until I was getting to the live chat, I can still talk to you even though I can't see you or see anything. Today was day 2 of the trial. It's supposed to only last through tomorrow. It is a bench trial, and so that means that there's no jury, there's no jurors. The judge is going to make the decision, and today I'm going to go through. We had a deputy on, and then we had the adoptive mother on, Tamil, which is like Tennille, but with an M, so it's Tamil. And she was on. I know that Mike already said he didn't like her. And let me just get into, hopefully, can I get into the live chat so I can see you guys? I don't know what's with our internet. It's just ridiculous. It's being ridiculous today. It's being a little jerk. Okay. Uh-oh. I hope that's not somebody trying to say that. Oh, okay. I thought that was trying to somebody say they couldn't hear me or something.
What?
All right, let me.
So am I. Food's almost done. Don't worry.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Yep.
So, hi everybody. Hi, Flower Girl Phillips. How are you? Hi, Flo. Whisper to me. Kathy. Cat's got my tongue. Listen. Let me tell you something. Please bear with me on getting the invoices out. We didn't get them out really bad. I feel terrible. Nightmare. Okay. Margot. Kevin. Mike. Kathy. Tammy. Let's see. Whisper to me. Nicole Griffith. Carol Plant. Jade Famous Artist. Let's see. Janae Ann. Bergstrong. Okay. So, all right. Let's talk about this. Let me grab. Hi, Amanda Love. How are you? All right. Let me pull my stuff up here. Red like wine. Hi, Carolyn. I can't chat. Just listening, but I can't see you, Carolyn. No, you should see the trial up. I just have a graphic up right now. I'm not on the screen, but you should be able to see the graphic, day 2, right? Okay, so let me pull up. Hi, Julie W. How are you? Okay. So today, they had Deputy Dobbs, I believe that was his name. Let me pull up my stuff here. And they also had Mr. Pete Jr. on there, which is still Rebecca's husband, though he calls her Reba. And they have the adoptive mother on, so let's go through this. Okay. They had the deputy on. They just went over and over and over with the deputy about the cadaver dogs and body farms. It was just a lot about, whether they were going to, how were they going to hit on something? Could someone disguise the smell of a decomposing body with meat or goat meat or dead goats? No. So he went through it all, how many, scent receptors this dog has and that dog has. And so it was a lot with that. And then they had Robert Pete Jr., son of Robert Pete Sr., and the husband of Rebecca Ruud on the stand. I know Kevin said earlier, didn't know whether maybe he was a slow learner or he was trying to be like that. He didn't know a lot, okay? How long have you known Rebecca, which he calls Reba, who he calls Reba? A long time. Well, what's a long time? I don't know. Nearly 10 years. How'd you meet? At a bar. When'd you start dating? Can't remember. What was it like? It was on and off. Did you ever have the chance to meet anyone named Savannah Leckie? Yes. What's that? Oh, that's her daughter. I met her a couple of times. And he said, when I started dating Rebecca again, she was living with Rebecca. He talked very low. They had to keep telling him to speak up, speak up. And when did you marry Reba? Well, when Savannah came up missing. Do you know the date? No. Were you living there part of the time or all the time? Part of the time. Then he said, were you going to live there all the time at some point? Yes. Okay. Do you know when she went missing, Savannah? He doesn't remember. He remembers that she wasn't in her trailer one morning. They went to a gas station, started looking for her. They didn't remember what time he got up. What time did you get up approximately? I don't know, but the sun was out. Okay, the sun was out. Good. Did you call the sheriff's office? Yes. Did they respond? Yes. Did they do a search? Yes. Did you assist? Yes. Are you a volunteer firefighter? Yes. What about that fire that occurred a few days before she went missing? Yes. He heard about it. And when you got there, what did you see? Because he wasn't there when the fire call went in, okay? So he said there was an extensive amount of land burn. And what was your dad doing? His dad was cleaning or treating Reba's arm. What about Savannah? Did you see Savannah then? Oh, yeah. She was helping me clean. She appeared healthy. And then what did you do? Well, then we had to bring Rebecca to the doctor for her arm. She got hydrocodone for pain. Filled it at the pharmacy. After that, they went to the grocery store, back to the farm. The next day, he got up to take care of livestock, and they had another pile of stuff to be burned. Savannah was healthy looking, doing chores. That evening, they were burning branches. It was a nice night. Lightning bugs were out. Did Savannah appear happy and healthy? Yes. What was the interactions between Rebecca and Savannah? Oh, they weren't getting along well because I don't think she did her homework. But he saw her say goodnight. She was going to bed. She was in that camper trailer thing, right? Did you and Reba go up into bed yet? No, not yet. They stayed up by the campfire. That's what they said. For a while. And then they went to bed together. And what happened the next day? She was gone. Okay, was anything missing? He said some of the pills were missing. Did you tell Deputy Dobbs? And he said some of the bedding was missing. Did you tell Deputy Dobbs that you couldn't find the pills? Okay, and he said yes. And then Rebecca at one point gave him a box of things to store for her. Where did you put that? I put it in a storage room at his parents' house. And he, sometime when he got out of jail, took the box out of the storage room, and he found a digital recorder in it, and he gave it to his attorney and alerted the sheriff's department about this. And then they showed him a photo of burns on Rebecca's arm. Okay, did you notice any changes with Savannah? No, he said. Since you only live part-time on the property, tell me what it's like. So they started go that, okay, there's no building codes in Missouri. So they don't need a CO. They can live in a structure if it doesn't even have a bathroom, okay? So he was saying there's a large metal structure. It's called the shop, but on one end there's like an apartment that's put in there, and that's where, there was a 32-foot camper. She said that's fairly good size. Yes, and the judge started to ask questions saying, did you ever see Savannah do anything like try to run in the fire? No. Savannah went back to the camper? Yes. And you and Rebecca stayed up? Mm-hmm. And then you went back to the building and you never saw Savannah again. Yes. Last time you saw her was at the fire? Yes. And let's see. There was a clarification. Were there 2 fires or 1 fire after the brush fire? Well, the bonfire was the night after the brush fire, and it was the night before she went missing, and they never saw her again after the bonfire. So then the adoptive mother comes on. She said she's known Rebecca for 21 years. She first met her 2 days before Savannah was born, and that, let me see, maybe I can put, so that gentleman right there, that was the gentleman in the corner there that was giving that's Robert P. Jr. Let me put a picture of the adoptive mother up here that's going to give her testimony next, okay? Hang on. Okay. Okay, hang on one sec. Okay. So let's put her, I believe this is, come on, come on. Hold on a minute, guys. There's like too many things up in here, so hang on. Oh, I know what's going on. Okay, now that makes sense. Okay. All right, so let me go here. All right. Trying to get a... I'm just going to put this one up because I'm not going to waste time opening. Okay, there's her adoptive mother. And we'll just put this on. And let me get my notes back up here. Okay, so she's known Rebecca for 21 years. They first met 2 days before Savannah was born. Well, how did you meet her? And she said, and she was another one, it was a little bit hard to hear at points. She said Rebecca's mother was her neighbor, and her ex-husband owned a resort, and they had met several times. They had just purchased the resort. It was the first season. The husband at the time was David Leckie. She, again, met Rebecca 2 days before Savannah was born. At the time, her and David were unable to have children, and they were looking to adopt, and they had just started looking into adoption, the adoption process. Shortly after Savannah was born, Rebecca's grandfather passes away. It's something about she goes to the funeral, and then there's about where she was getting a present for Rebecca, the baby, as a congratulations gift. There was a home interiors party she mentions. And I guess so she got to know Rebecca a little bit and the baby, and Rebecca had asked her to babysit. Did you start caring for Savannah on a regular basis? Yes. Did she end up in foster care in Minnesota? Yes. Did you then get legal custody of her? Yes. Upon her arrival, she explained to her mother what was going on. Her mother... Okay, so she's trying to see there was something where the little baby ended up in foster care, and there was a court hearing, and the judge said that the child should be going into foster care, even though she was with the grandmother at the time, which is Rebecca's mother. So they said, does Rebecca have any other children? She said, yes, she has 2 older sons, Matthew and Jacob. They were living with the ex-husband. Rebecca named the baby Savannah, and let's see. was she in the life after you and your husband eventually adopted Savannah? Yes. By the time she was 2 months old. Was Rebecca in Savannah's life? Yes, she was after the adoption. They wanted to make sure they established a trust level, and they said that when they went to Wisconsin, that she would come up for the holidays, Rebecca would, and would spend them with her. Well, how did you introduce her to Savannah? And she said she was just part of the testimony of who she was, meaning who Savannah was. Did Savannah eventually get a sister? She said yes. She got a half-sister. It was Rebecca's daughter with another baby daddy. And she asked them to take the child that was named Michaela, so they adopted Michaela. Michaela was born in 2004. Savannah was born in 2001. She wasn't 3 years old by the time that child came. And then, this was the other thing, they said, eventually, did you and your husband David have your own biological children? Yes, they had 2 biological children, but I couldn't tell whether, I know they were boys, I believe, but I couldn't tell whether they were twins or there were 2 separate births. So apparently then that does happen. People adopt and they end up having their own children. It happens. Okay, so... But then in the summer of 2010, her and David separate, and they eventually get divorced, and they've got their 4 children, so they have to have an arrangement, so they get a custody arrangement. And is he going to pay child support? Yes. And was Savannah eventually diagnosed with any kind of condition? And she said yes. After teachers and caregivers said she should be evaluated, it ends up that she has ADHD and Asperger's. Well, what did you do for that? She said when she was younger, we used medication, but they tried to use different therapies as she got older. Okay, after you separated, did you start dating? They asked her. Yes, she said, a man named Kerry Steves. She married him. They were married until, she said, November of 2017. They got together in March of 2015. And what happened after the separation and divorce from David, Savannah's adoptive father? She didn't notice a lot of change, she said, but Savannah did not get along well with her new boyfriend and then husband, Kerry Steves. That he was a stern father figure. She noticed behavior changes, and Savannah was becoming angry and acting out at her and acting out at the younger siblings. And she was diagnosed with depression when she was 14. So they said, so did you start to seek out, how you could help this? Yes, but she got a call from the school. And someone had observed her doing, it sounded like she said, dark search engine searches. And so they brought her to the hospital where she was hospitalized to be observed. And she had not been diagnosed at that time with depression. And they said that she continued on with her therapy. She continued, which included a regular therapist's appointment. Then there was a second hospitalization shortly after she began seeing Mr. Steves. There was a superficial wound that someone saw on Savannah. And so she made a decision that Savannah needed to live somewhere else. And she talked with her ex-husband David, and she talked with her parents. And, well, we know what ended up happening. She ended up sending her to this farm to live with Rebecca. And she said that she had to do that because at the time Savannah was targeting Tamil, like she was going after her, and she was targeting the younger siblings, and it wasn't safe. So she needed to get Savannah somewhere else. And there was a falling out between Tamil and Rebecca. And how did that falling out happen? And she said, well, I think it happened when We had breakups from the guys that they were with, but then Tamil got together with this new relationship. And when she talked about it, Rebecca said she thought she was rubbing it in her face. So they had a little bit of a falling out. And it was 10 hours from where they lived in Minnesota to the farm in Missouri, 10 hours by car. They also talked about a power of attorney, and she said she filled out the paperwork, Tamil did, but doesn't know if Rebecca ever got it. And that ended up supposedly being for that one of the jobs that Rebecca had was being a truck driver. And so she was going to take Savannah on the road with her, and that's what she needed, supposedly, this power of attorney. And then they talked about when Savannah moved, where did she, who helped her pack, who packed her, did she bring anything, what'd she bring? Well, it ends up that she's saying she brought at least one guinea pig with her, okay? And she said that Rebecca had threatened once to send Savannah back, and that in itself was not a threat, but she was just going to put her on a Greyhound bus, a 15-year-old girl, 10-hour trip. And so the prosecutor said, and you love her, right? You still do, right? Yes. She was not a burden. No. And then again, why was she sent away? And she said, well, to get some behaviors under control. And let's see, they said, why did she want to send her back on the house? And she said, well, there were a lot of arguments happening. Savannah's very headstrong. And after Thanksgiving of 2016, they said, were you able to reach her on her phone? No, she no longer had her phone. It was taken away, and we know later on that she was smashed, okay? So she had no more phone to contact anyone. So they said, yeah, you had to call Rebecca? Yeah, she had to call Rebecca. And did she refuse to let you talk to her at times? Yes, she did. Why? Well, she's either in the middle of chores, she's in the middle of homework, she's dealing with behaviors. She tried to be understanding. And they said, well, the arrangement was you were supposed to give her a third of your child support. Is that correct? Yes. But you weren't getting paid on a regular basis from your ex-husband, correct? Correct. He was in arrears, so she wasn't getting that money to Rebecca on time. But she said that she was also paying for things for Savannah, and that there was also extra money that was being asked, and she would send things from Amazon when Savannah needed them. And did Savannah ever say she was unhappy? No, but she said, there's difficult things, teenagers with parents. And were you friends with Rebecca on Facebook? Yes. And then they show her, an evidence exhibit, which is a Facebook post when police came in with a search warrant and asked her to stay at bay. Okay. And so she saw that her, the daughter's gone, and she saw that on Facebook. And they said, did she ever tell you, her discipline methods or whatever? Yes. Did she ever tell you, about this pig pen and this muddy? No. She said, I discussed with her, taking away things, removing privileges, stuff like that. And then they talked about the truck driving. Did you have the power of attorney? Did it have to do with the truck driving? Were you able to sign it so she could take Savannah with her prior to her going to live with Rebecca? Was there conversation about child support? Again, that's all was arranged. And then that were you employed when you were raising Savannah? She said on and off. And so that was where most of that ended today. Let me see. I'm going to go back to the chat because I'm not on live chat here and I can't hear you guys. I can't read your thing. Pigpen, yeah, cranky babishka. That's one of the punishments. They lived in a farm and she would make her crawl into a pig pen, roll around on the mud and, crap. And then, hi, Rosalita, she would make her go and bathe in a muddy pond. Yeah, like a really disgusting muddy pond, among other things. Hi, Aurora, Cranky Babishka, Denise Cormier. Who else came in? Tina, Vicky, Rosalita. Okay. So, yeah, it was really gross. But tomorrow, I imagine she's going to take the stand, right? Now, that was my... I'm back. If anyone spoke to me, I didn't respond. It was because I was just listening. Sorry. It's okay. Red like wine. Hang on. Let me just get something else here. Okay. All right. Seeing what's going to go on to okay, so there were a bunch of different you know what I was going to say, they asked the deputy about that rake. Remember that the one story she told somebody about giving her the hydrocodone, putting her on the fire, and then hitting her with that rake. Well, they had the rake tested, and there's supposed to be a recording too that was in that box that was deemed admissible. Okay. Hang on one second. Let me get that. Okay. Okay, so in 2017, a recording was made prior to Rebecca being charged with Savannah's death. Rebecca had met with public defenders, and then she put this recording in a box, which she gave it to Robert Pete Jr., who said he didn't look inside the box for more than a year. The recording reportedly contains at least a partial confession from Rebecca. After listening to the recording, Robert Pete Jr. gave it to his attorney and the Ozark County Sheriff's Office. In 2021, the Missouri Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Sheriff's Office, saying the recording can be used as evidence in the trial. At the time of the ruling, the Ozark County Prosecuting Attorney John Garabrandt said, "It's a major piece of evidence, and we are pleased that the Supreme Court found that the privilege had been waived, which is what we had felt all along, but we had to wait a long time before we finally got an answer. No one in the state besides police have listened to it," is what he said back in November. "None of us had listened to it because there was a possibility that it might have been considered a confidential attorney-client communication. So I don't know what the content is, but I'm interested in listening to what's on there that might affect how the state is going to present its evidence in this case." Okay, so we know that it's admissible now, and with tomorrow being supposedly the last day, because because it ended with the adoptive mother on the stand today. And I'm trying to see if, hold on one second, if we can get, one second. Okay, let's see here. Oh my goodness, let me see. Accused killer, Rebecca Ruud, leaves the courtroom for lunch. Okay, so I think tomorrow, I think it's still slated that it's going to be the last day. So, again, it is a bench trial. It's not going to a jury. The judge is going to make his decision. I haven't really watched a bench trial in, I think, a long time. I don't think I can even remember. So I'm not so sure how this is. Oh, wait, I forget which one it was. I think it was, the last one was that woman, I believe the woman that killed her husband and his girlfriend. Remember that one? And she went to Culver's. I think that was a bench trial. But I'm not sure, I can't exactly say for an absolute certainty. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Hang on one second. Okay, was there a reason why there was no, it was just her preference. Okay. Hi, hippie chick. Does anybody, well, she's accused of killing her daughter, Frankie, and it's her biological daughter. It's a very convoluted case. I could tell you just a little bit about it. This woman, Tamil, who's the adoptive mother that you see there, met Savannah's mother 2 days before Savannah was born. And long story short, she started babysitting, and Rebecca had 2 older sons. They lived with her ex-husband. She eventually had another child after Savannah, and this woman that you see here ended up adopting both of them. But Savannah had ADHD, and she had Asperger's, and she had depression, and long story short, having a long, hard battle with her. She didn't get along with the new boyfriend because she got divorced from the adoptive father, and it ended up that she was going to go and live with her biological mother. It was an open adoption, so she knew her biological mother, and she was going to let her go to this farm. But when she went to the farm, things were not good, allegedly. Like I said, she wasn't good at handling this. The child tried to self-harm, and instead of getting her help, she was rubbing salt and alcohol into the wounds twice a day to punish her from doing that. She made her crawl around in the pig pens. She made her go in these ponds to bathe, and it wasn't a nice thing. It was like disgusting ponds, okay, very muddy, and she was hitting her, lots of things. And then there was a fire called in, and they thought it was a structure fire, but it ended up being a brush fire. Oh, Vicky, I don't know. It's good. It's very quickly. I went over the case yesterday, if you want to watch too, but I'm doing it brief now for you too. There was a fire, and the fire department came out there, and they noticed like there was burnt land. And these people were like off the grid people. So, and it's in a part of Missouri where there are no building codes. She had Savannah living in this camper trailer. Let me see if I can find pictures of the property for you here. Hold on. And they were living in this metal building they called the shop, and she was starting to do goat soap. And I saw some woman in the chat today on the Law and Crime, and she said that she knew Rebecca, and she actually helped design her soap business website. And she said, I hope they find her guilty. She was very odd. She was very strange. And that she was telling a little bit more about the area in which they lived, and that there are no building codes, and you can literally live in an outhouse if you want to, and it's fine. So let me see. It's not a very it's not an extremely publicized case. That's probably why, but let me open this. Okay, so let me get and she was homeschooling her as well. So and then she smashed her phone so that Savannah had like no outside contact with anyone. Yeah, it was really bad. And her remains were then found on this charred pile, and there was lye all over the place, which she had lye because she was making soap. Remember, with the she was making soap, and she was going into like off-grid communities on Facebook and everything like that. Trying to get here. So, so an ex-boyfriend of Rebecca's said that she had seen her disciplining Savannah by making her crawl through a hog pen and making her bathe in a pond, this horrible muddy pond, and then again the alcohol and the salt in the wounds. The last time that Savannah and her adoptive mother spoke was on her 16th birthday on June 3rd, according to Steve's, and that was the second husband of the adoptive mother. When they asked Robert Pete, they said, you also are charged, you have charges in this as well. Yes. Yes, it does. Trying to get let me get the address and see if we can just do it on a Google so we can go around maybe a little bit. Okay. Okay. Okay, so it's 81 acres. Oh, and that's what they asked also. What was the farm like? You know, it was 81 acres, and I didn't even know. He couldn't even describe the farm. It's really, maybe he was playing like that. Who knows? She was eventually arrested at a Greyhound bus station in Springfield, Missouri, after she purchased a ticket to go to Kansas City. And her and that boyfriend that was on the stand today, when he was her boyfriend, got married the very same day that the remains were found, so that they could have those privileges as husband and wife not to testify against each other. Very interesting, isn't it? Okay, so I can tell you that I will definitely be watching tomorrow, and I'm trying to get here this. This was Rebecca and her daughter, who she's accused of killing. Okay, and I can't even. What's this one? Is this Supreme Court of Missouri? Let's see what this is. Okay, so let's look at this. This is. Here's her indictment, okay? About John Garabrandt, the prosecuting attorney of Ozark. This was, okay, no, this is about the recording, okay? This was November 9th of 2021, about that recording being admissible. But just if you want to hear the wording, on September 20th, 2017, an Ozark grand jury returned an indictment against Rebecca and her then husband, Robert Pete Jr., but he says he is still married to her, charging them with first-degree murder, felony abuse, or neglect of a child resulting in the death, second-degree murder, tampering with physical evidence in a felony prosecution, and abandonment of a corpse, all related to the killing of Ruud's minor daughter. Shortly before the charges were brought, Rebecca Ruud sought and obtained legal representation from the Missouri State Defender's Office. On August 11th of 2017, she met with MSPD investigator Nina Lane and legal assistant Kathy Holder. Unbeknownst to Lane and Holder, Rebecca recorded the entirety of their conversation on a digital recording device. Prior to her arrest on the charges, Ruud gave an unsealed box of personal belongings to Pete Jr., Joe Pete Jr., to store in preparation for an over-the-road truck driving trip. Now, one of the items in the box was a digital recording of that meeting with Lane and Holder, and unaware of the recording, Pete placed the unsealed box in a bedroom closet in his parents' house, where it remained for several years. In late 2019, he discovers that there was a recording in this box, and he contacts his attorney, who contacts the state and spoke with a member of the Ozark County Sheriff's Office, informed the Sheriff's Office that he had discovered the digital recording, and it included incriminating statements made by Rebecca. He surrenders the digital recording advice to the Sheriff's Office the same day, and that's where it has remained. And then it was deemed admissible into court. So, yes, hopefully we'll be saying some more about that, but did anybody, hold on a second. So, all right, so let me see. Let me go back to your chat. I can't see it. I don't know what is going on with this computer. This is my chat. Where the heck did my video go? Hold on. This is so ridiculous. Okay, let me see here. Sorry guys, I know this is convoluted. I didn't get back until, why is this not going? Hold on a minute, this is taking forever. Okay. All right, so there we go. So sad, send her back, why kill her? Well, she was going to send her back on a Greyhound, and she wasn't getting the money, and hi Tammy Flo. So what do you guys, hi Debbie D, the state asked him if he wanted to be married to her. He said no. Then there was an objection. Yes, I heard that, right? Yeah. Right, and they said disregard that. That's right, disregard that. Okay, so let me see. I'm trying to read what you guys are saying. Debbie, are you following this? Debbie, do you know what's on, if we're going to hear the recording tomorrow, or is she going to take the stand tomorrow? Do I really think she was doing it? She probably wasn't, and I thought it was interesting that she was already back in school, and the disagreement was about homework, right? Yeah. Yeah, but she was homeschooling Cranky Babishka. Yes, she should have had resources, and that's the problem, because they were asking about the IEP with the other mother, the adopted mother, but even she wasn't getting the right resources. I'm trying to remember if that one that I'm thinking about with the lady that went to Culver's, that was a bench trial. Oh, we're going to hear the recording and she'll be on the stand tomorrow? Oh, you don't know about that? Hopefully it'll be played tomorrow, right? Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Vicky. So, I don't know. I mean, if anybody wants to come up and talk about it, but I don't think a lot of people have, I mean, you know, compared to law and crimes numbers, even with the Daniel Redlick case, okay, it wasn't anything like that. So it's not a very, you know, crazy case. Hi, Denise. It's a quick trial. Denise, are they gonna, do you think she's gonna she's taking the stand tomorrow and they're gonna play the recording tomorrow? Nicole, Scooter is going with her younger daughter to her cottage in Buffalo for a couple of days. Everything is fine with Scooter, Nicole. I thought they were going to play it too when the husband was on the stand. Exactly. And Debbie, did they ever give us the result of that rake? Did they give us the result or just ask if it was tested? It's very hard to find a lot about this case. And the adoptive mother was very upset because she's saying she was getting all kinds of death threats and stuff, I guess. For essentially what many people thought was like she was giving back her kid and not taking care of her kid and stuff. That's what I thought, Debbie. Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Hope you're feeling better, Debbie. You know that, Kevin? There is none on there? In a way, I'm glad. I really am, because I wouldn't want to think that. Are you saying there was no matching DNA or they didn't give that information, Kevin? I'm not sure what you're saying. I'm not sure if you're saying that they didn't give the results of the DNA or you're saying that there was none of her DNA on there or prints. Is that what you guys heard?
Yeah.
I'm glad of that because that would have been horrific if that was.
Yeah, what bag?
I'd like to think that's not true. Right? I would like to think it's not true. Let me see here. So here's another open. Wish I could see. Right here, let me look at. Okay, Luke. Go over here. The criminal complaint reveals Ruud forced the teen to roll around in a hog pen on at least one occasion and wade in a muddy pond and dunk under the water. She had smashed Savannah's cell phone, banned her from using Facebook as a form of punishment. She went, she had lived with her mother for 11 months, I guess, before this happened. In a text message exchange between Rebecca and Tamil, the adoptive mother, in June, the biological mom allegedly complained about having her daughter on the farm, and she allegedly told Tamil that it was difficult to get things done because the daughter was treating me like crap, she said. It's to the point that I either need more help to care for her or I can do nothing with her. I am severely limited in the work I can do by having Savannah. In another text, Rebecca allegedly said that Savannah was costing her too much money and she was afraid she would lose the farm. Rebecca was arrested on Monday. This is when it happened at a Greyhound bus station in Springfield after buying the ticket to go to Kansas City. Where was she going? To Kansas City. And her partner was not arrested at that time. See, they don't talk about the biological father. Just that the partner is not Savannah's biological father, but Pete and Joe Pete Jr. and Rebecca got married on the same day the remains were found. Let's see, Rebecca told fire crews that both she and Savannah had suffered burns, but she told them that they could not see Savannah, that she had taken a shower and she was naked laying in that camper trailer and not to bother her. But then 2 days later, she reports her as a runaway. It's very hard to find a whole heck of a lot. Let's see this. And I don't know what is up with the younger sister. Hopefully she's okay. I have no... It's a very weird case. It almost reminds me of that case in 2019. Remember with that lady that adopted her friend's kids, but there was the adoptive mother that time that killed them, or killed the one. The sister, she killed the one, and then she said she kind of did it to get back at the friend. Remember that? It was in 2019. I think it was right before the Timothy Jones trial. It was horrible, and she was horribly abusive to the one girl. And she was breaking her bones, and you remember that one? I don't know if anybody remembers it. And there was a little girl that testified. It was horrible. There were so many trials in that May, June of 2019. Okay, let me see here. And they're making a light, let me see, the Gabby Petito story. They're making a movie. It looks like it's going to be on Lifetime, I believe. I don't know if it has the blessing of the family or whatever, but apparently Skylar Samuels, 28, was seen with the Let It Be tattoo. And she's going to portray Gabby. So, I don't know when that's supposed to air. It's being, when is that supposed to be airing? I don't know. Director Birch will also play Nicole Schmidt. I don't know when this is. Looks like it's a Lifetime movie project. I know, but I'm just trying to see when this airs because it popped up. And I don't know. Let me see. Okay, forget. Then I'll look at it later. I don't want to jump all over the place. My ADD is showing. You wish they would not make a movie right now. Yeah. Yes, the Rose and... Yes, Denise. Yes, thank you, Denise. Thanks, Denise Renee. Yes. Hi, Video Real. How's everybody? And I'm sorry that I'm not on camera because I have to eat something because I was running so late and I didn't eat anything. Adopted mom chose the new man over Savannah. Family couldn't remember anything right. Tamil couldn't remember anything right. Well, she couldn't remember anything right or she didn't want to because she's very defensive, True Crime Latest. She's extremely defensive because she's been, that's exactly what she's being portrayed as. She said she's had death threats and this and that, you know. So who knows? Who knows on that one? I don't know. It was an extremely sad case, Denise. And you know what? It was a mean girl thing. You know what I mean? These mean girls, they don't grow out of this stuff. They don't. We can be 60 years old and they're still doing mean girl crap to other girls, other women. Because they're jealous and vindictive and there's something wrong with them. Maybe we should study the psychology of these mean girls who never get out of that stuff. You know, who always have to tell friends the opposite thing or smile in someone's face and, oh, yeah, I'm so happy you're doing well. And then meanwhile, they're coveting everything and doing anything. Hi, Sherry Shirley. To hurt the other person while trying to look like, you know, Shirley Temple. Oh, end of 2022? Really? Okay. You know, I don't know how good it's going to be. The Lifetime movie, Chris Watts, was crap, and it was not endorsed by the family, so... The only movie I thought was good from Lifetime about a true crime was Jodi Arias. Mommy, it's a sickness. Yeah, I agree, but why? Why are girls doing that? Why are they do that from a young age? That's what I'd like to know, Nicole. And how come they don't grow out of it? That's true, Nicole. Yeah. Which one, Red Like Wine? The Chris Watts one? Yeah, that wasn't based at all. That was just they were putting that and making it. He had roid rage. That was so stupid. But the Jodi Arias Dirty Little Secret one, that was a very, very good Lifetime movie. But most of them are horrible. Because they want sensationalism and they don't care about facts at all. I would think it lessens with age, Kevin, but I think it just I don't know. But, you know, look at those girls that murdered The two girls that murdered that one, and I mean, it's been going on a long time. Remember that Patty Duke movie where Mean Girls murdered, I believe it was her daughter, threw her off a cliff or something? It was a true story. And then it happened again. And it's happened to girls a lot. Okay? Where you get two or three of them and they don't like one. And I mean, there's at least 3 cases I can remember recently now. The one from that Patty Duke movie. And remember, the one that killed her actually moves in with the woman, with Patty Duke in the movie, but Scott has to wait because he got caught. Oh, okay. They drowned the girl. Yeah. And then there's another one where I went over, I think last year, and they were young and they told the girl to come out at night, and they took her in a car, and I think she ended up, she was either, I think they stabbed her. It was horrible. And they did this on Twitter. It played out on Twitter. You're very lucky. You're very lucky, Red Line Wine. Do you know the girls that, here's the first game, and I don't know who teaches them to play this game. I really don't. Killer Amongst Friends. Thank you, Tammy. And that was based on a true story, right, Tammy? We should look into that case. Tammy, see if you can find out the real case, and I'll look it up. But there was another one where, you know that, I mean, I think it's important to tell people, because the games that Mean Girls play, like, where do they learn to play those games? And what's the oldest one in the book that Mean Girls play? Telling their friend that something looks good on them that doesn't look good on them, and when they do look good, they tell them they look horrible. Right? I never knew that till, like, my mother had told me to watch for it, just look for it. And I started to see it with people, like, just with other friends. And that's why I only had a few close girlfriends, and I was friends with a lot of guys because I couldn't take the game playing. But that's one thing that they do. They go, oh, that looks great on you. Or, oh, I love that haircut on you. That looks great. And if you're playing with a mean girl, they're going to tell you something that, who would imagine? Yeah, I couldn't. It's so ridiculous to play those games. Like, but, you remember the girl who was murdered by another girl who wanted to be her friend? The movie was about a cheerleader who was murdered. I remember my mom showing me the article. Yes. And that was, I think, 1984. Yeah. And then what about the, wasn't there the Texas cheerleader, right? The mother killed the other one that was her daughter's rival? She was a mean girl that never, got better. Hi, Fazia. Well, I said no women as friends in real life, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's scary. It's a scary thing. It's a scary thing. So let me see. You said it was a murder among friends. Let me say murder among friends. Oh, killer among friends. Right? Killer among friends. Let me see. Killer among friends. But then there was that Twitter one, too. We should do a series on that, like Mean Girls that murder, Okay, let me see. So, a woman who murdered her best friend should not be allowed to profit from books about it. Okay, so the surviving family of murdered Missy Avila. Let me see. Okay, so here's the story. Let's get the story of this. So here's the players in this horrific thing. Hold on, I've got to close some tabs because I cannot even. Okay, let me get. I remember Patty Duke was in the kitchen. I remember that movie so distinctly, right? Okay, and this is the girl that was killed. Put this up here. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you guys. And let me see if there's a better picture. It's hard because this happened some time ago and the pictures are great. Let's see if that's better. We'll put that one up there. So that's Michelle Yvette Avila. She was born February 8th, 1968, and she died October 2nd, 1985. Okay, and okay, so there is adoption in here too. The Seversons adopted a daughter named Karen. They never thought their beautiful daughter would murder her best friend out of jealousy. They think because she was an adopted child, had just grown up thinking that she was a reject. Her birth parents didn't want her. When she was a teenager, her family moved to a new house in a new neighborhood in the old Arleta suburb of Los Angeles. And then it was when she moved there that she met Missy Avila, who lived just a few blocks away. Missy was a very friendly, beautiful girl. She was able to make friends with people, and she just had a really nice personality. She hit it off immediately with Karen when she met her, and Missy invited Karen over to her house and let her meet her mother, who was Irene. And the mother was, more than happy to have Karen over. And from the get-go, though, Karen became very jealous of the relationship Missy had with her mother, of the house they had, everything. She became very jealous. And the first visit was really a little strange because Missy's mom, Irene, was fixing, something for them to eat. And when she returned, she said she heard Karen bragging that she had 2 sets of parents and siblings. And she thought she was the child of divorced parents and thought, why would, this is what she had, brag about that. And, thinking that, okay, teenage girls are silly, whatever. And she found out, no, they weren't divorced. So she was astonished that this child was lying like this, okay? And you want to hear about Mean Girls? This is what they do. They're liars, they're manipulators. And that's what Karen did. Okay, she lied and she dominated and she did everything to manipulate Missy. And what she wanted to do was alienate her from all of her friends, including any potential boyfriends. Okay, so Missy, who doesn't have any of this, these thoughts or whatever, wasn't thinking the worst of Karen, right? And believed that Karen was her best friend, and was only, what's the matter? Was only concerned about her well-being. She felt like she was looking out for her, but Karen wasn't looking out for Missy. Nope, Karen was only interested in what mattered to her and what, she could get out of any situation. So Missy gave emotional support when girls would be mean to Karen, and Karen didn't want Missy to have any friends besides her. So what she had to do was go behind Missy's back and get rumors spread about her, nasty ones, so that people would say horrible things to her. They would tease her about stuff. They would not be friends with her. They wouldn't even want to start a friendship with her. And then when Missy was all down and upset about that, then of course Karen is going to try to soothe her, and that's going to bond them together. But it could never work because Karen's a liar and a manipulator. It's not real. And then Karen found a guy and she fell in love with him, and she thought, oh, I'm finally, being noticed by the boys. And then she found out her parents were getting separated. Okay, so now, oh gosh, what's happening? And Karen gets pregnant at 15. Karen gives birth to a baby girl, and having a baby at 15, this is in 1983, she had this baby, was really challenging. And she met another girl who's Laura Doyle, and she became close friends with her. And Karen had to leave school due to the pregnancy. And Laura was not popular either, like Karen, and they both came from broken homes with addicted parents. So Karen's parents were helping her take care of the baby, but she would often go over to Missy's house and retreat over there so she could get away from being a teen mom and all that stuff. And in one visit, Karen found a boy with Missy in her bedroom, and that was a really bad thing. And Karen said, you better get rid of this guy. But Missy said no, and that's the problem, right? Karen goes into a psychotic frenzy, freaks out, okay? And Missy's like, all right, well, she'll get over it, whatever. She's hormonal from having a baby or whatever. And, Karen had broken up with her boyfriend, so she chalked it up to that and just really didn't think that much about it. Didn't think a lot about it. And then it caused Karen to be really flipping out because Missy now has a boyfriend and she's not getting rid of him. Okay? And she's freaking. So Missy says, why don't you come back, Karen, to school for 10th grade? And Karen says, okay, but she didn't want to go back to the same school. She had gained weight from the baby, and she had a lot of insecurity, so she decided to go to a different school. And the school she went to was a school for kids at risk kind of kids or dropouts, whatever. And Missy's parents are then getting separated, and she decides to go to the school that Karen's going to out of some teenage rebellion, right? And she wanted to show loyalty to her friend. So what happens? Not good things. Their grades start dropping. Missy starts hanging out with the wrong people, starts drinking, starts smoking. And, but even so, even in this school, Missy is more popular. Okay? And then that other girl, Laura Doyle, starts to date one of Missy's old boyfriends. And Karen begins to date another one of Missy's ex-boyfriends. And Karen gets pregnant again. And the boyfriend tells let me see here. So Randy Fernandez, an old boyfriend of Missy, is the one that got Karen pregnant. And Karen walks in when Randy tells Missy that he still has feelings for her. Laura gets dumped by her boyfriend. And so both of these girls end up with extreme jealousy of Missy, right? Because they both dated her old boyfriends. And they both broke up with them. And then one of the boyfriends says that he's still in love with Missy, and she overhears this. Now they are both freaking out, these two girls, right? These rejected girls. October 1st of 1985, Karen and Laura decide they're going to put a plan into motion. So Missy tells her mother that she's going to the park with her friend Laura, promising to call her if it got late. Laura had the job to lure Missy. And it worked. Laura brought Missy to the park. Then there was a new girl there called Eva. And Karen was already at the park with this new Eva girl. Laura and Karen start to argue. Laura came back to the car. And with Missy in the passenger seat, she sped off, heading to Camp Colby, and that's the girls' old hangout. When they reach the parking lot, Laura and Karen confront Missy. And Missy's crying now. She's led through a dirt road. Eva's following from a distance. And Eva's not really sure what the heck's happening, okay? Missy is not sure what the heck is happening, right? They led her to a little clearing by a stream. They made her sit on a rock, and they just started to insult her, okay? And they're having a good time at it because they've been so jealous, and they're just letting it out, and they're calling her names, and they're making her cry. And then they drown her in the stream. And they put a large piece of wood on her back to weight her down. And then Laura phones Irene and asks if Missy was at home. And Irene said, "What do you mean? She's with you." And Laura says, "Well, Missy ran into a couple of boys in a blue Camaro and she wanted to hang out with them." Irene was like, "Oh, okay, well, then she'll be home soon, whatever." And expects to have, Missy's coming home. Well, the next morning, she's still not home. So now her mother's frantic and runs into Missy's room, and she's checking everything, and she can't find her daughter. So she's checking with all her friends, and she reports her missing to the police. And the police say, well, it's going to take 24 hours for missing persons to be submitted. And Karen is staying by Missy's mom's side, we'll help you. And then October 4th, they find Missy dead by hikers. So Karen interjects herself into the family. She moves in with them, and the Avila family is treating her like a daughter. Okay, she's pretending she is mourning Missy like crazy. But remember that new girl, Eva, witnessed everything. And she had no involvement in it other than not saying anything. She was scared to death of Laura and Karen and knew that if she betrayed their trust, she'd be dead. She already saw her kill one girl. So Karen ends up, really helping Missy's mom and the whole family. And she says, you know what, why don't we investigate Missy's murder? I'll go back to the crime scene with Missy's friends, and she goes back with one of Missy's boyfriends, Victor, and there they found the word Karen and Missy, friends forever, carved onto a tree, and they also found the names Randy and Karen with slash markings. Karen told friends she had never been to that place, so they found it odd to see her name on the tree. So she explained that it must be Randy who wrote it and slashed out the names, and he must be responsible for Missy's murder. So now she's going to implicate Randy. Okay? Now, Randy is the father of the baby that Karen aborted, despite him, okay? But when he told her that he didn't love her and she found out that he still loved Missy. So she conned her friends and they accepted her story. And then they were plotting to kill Randy because she's telling it Randy killed Missy. So Victor, the other guy that was there, then beats Randy up so severely and they leave him for dead. And they think he's dead. And they find out, though, didn't happen. He's recovering in the hospital. So now Karen is fuming and says, how could you let him live? We've got to kill him. And for 3 years, Karen and Laura got away with the murder of Missy. Eva, whose brother committed suicide, called the police July 26 of 1988 and told the police what happened to Missy. It took the loss of her brother to come forward. Now, the next day, Karen and Laura were arrested on first-degree murder charges. And the Avila family was like, what? They were like daughters to them, both of them. Karen living under their roof with them. The trial began in January of 1990. 3 months later, a jury found Karen and Laura guilty of second-degree murder. After serving 20 years behind bars, Karen was released in 2011 on parole and Laura the following year. Following their release, Karen starts doing school tours, okay? She's promoting anti-bullying. And in 2013, she releases a book titled Hope Beyond the Fences. And then a second book, My Life, I Lived It. And it also coincided, the release date, with the anniversary of Missy's murder. And the Avila family then sued Karen in 2015 because they said she should not be profiting off this crime that she committed. So then the state of California passed Missy's law, and it requires victims' families to be contacted before any criminals publish works. So, yeah, and there's a lot of movies on this. Let's see here. We can look at the testimony of, let's see Victor's testimony in the trial. Are you guys interested in this? Maybe you're not interested in this. I don't know if you want me to go on with this. Maybe not, maybe yes, maybe no. I don't even know how we get into some things. Are you interested in this or not? Hi, Linda Uribe. Hi, Mike. Are you interested in hearing Victor's testimony or not? Let me know, because I sometimes I go off on things. Oh, you are? Yes, Nicole is. Help me, Rhonda. Hi. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure that, I don't want to go off on something and you guys are like really crazy. Let me get another picture up here of trying to get a picture of all three of them. Let me see if this will be all three of them. I'm going to get some of these other stupid tabs down. There's too many tabs. Sorry, I have so many tabs open on my... I'm trying to pull up other stuff. Hang on, hang on. Come on. Oh, come on. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Now, is it there? Is it here? Okay, here's the 3. Let me try to make this a little bit larger. Okay. So Missy's in the middle there. And you've got Karen over here and Laura. Okay? So let me get Victor's stuff up here. So let's see here. So Victor Matthew Amaya, 23, testified at a preliminary hearing in Glendale Municipal Court that Laura Doyle threatened to kill Michelle Missy Avila, whose body was found in a creek in the Los Angeles National Forest on October 4th of 1985. Victor Amaya traveled from the California Youth Authority facility in Chino to testify against Doyle. He was recently taken into custody for violation of his probation on an assault conviction when he was 17. Amaya testified that he had broken up with Doyle. That's Laura Doyle, 3 to 4 months before Missy was found dead. He said that he broke off the relationship with Laura Doyle because she was jealous of Missy, talking to other girls, including Missy. Now let's see. He broke it off with her because Laura was jealous of him talking to any other girls, including Missy. Now, Laura refused to accept the breakup. She became bitter, Victor said, and he said that he and Missy had argued with Laura at his house 6 weeks before they killed Missy. Victor testified that he, his brother, Noah, and Missy had been standing in front of his house when Laura drives up. And Laura says, "What the heck is Missy here for?" And Victor says, "Get out of here, Laura. Get out of here." Before she drives away, she threatens to kill Missy, Victor said. He quoted Laura saying, "I'm going to kill that biatch." And Victor says that he didn't take it seriously and he never reported it to the police. He didn't think she was serious. He just thought she was pissed off. And Victor says that Laura knew that he once had a relationship with Missy, but that it occurred before he met Laura. Now, Laura's attorney asked Victor if he was aware that Missy and Laura had been friends since childhood, and he said, as far as I knew, they didn't really get along. Laura and Karen Severson were arrested June 27th in Missy's death after the Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies received information from a witness, and that would be Eva. Laura drove Missy to the forest and was followed in another car by Karen and Eva. And Eva's not been charged. The four walked to the creek. An argument ensued between Laura and Missy wound up drowned. Karen was scheduled to appear at a hearing in Pasadena Juvenile Court to determine if she will stand trial as an adult, because she was 17 when Missy was killed. Preliminary hearing for Laura, who was 18, continues, and the woman could each be sentenced 25 to life in prison, but they're both out now. So let's see where let me see what this is here. Here's a picture of, let me see if I can get this one. Come on. Of Karen and Missy. And let's see. So let's see. Karen's story when she got out said that she didn't intend to kill Missy. Okay. And she said that she's known her since she was 7, and she used to stick up for her before they drifted apart. She said she was only planning to bully her when things got out of hand. She said, I only meant to torment Missy. Oh, that's nice. Mean girl. Want to torment her? Yeah. Looking back, I was jealous of Missy. You think? And this is all her words that I'm quoting, okay? These are her actual words. She was a sweet-looking girl with long auburn hair and green eyes. And she said that she first described meeting her when Missy was outside and she was looking for her cat who was lost. And Karen said, I helped her look for her cat. Karen had just moved into the block in the neighborhood, and she was, a neighbor a few blocks down. They were very similar at that age, she said, and she said they loved playing Barbies, playing out in the sun, but things were not always easy for Missy. She goes, Missy would get picked on a lot at school. Yeah. Now, let's remember that this one here, the reason Missy's getting picked on at school is because this one's making up lies about her. You've got to understand these are Karen's words, even when Karen got out of prison. So you take them with several grains of salt, okay? I don't know why. Now let's see what I mean? I don't know why. She's so innocent, right? Why would they be making fun? I don't know. Maybe people were jealous of her pretty looks, but I stood up for her. I did, right? She called me her bodyguard after that. She said as the girls got older, they grew apart. And at 14 is when Karen got pregnant. She said she thinks this led to her and her former friend drifting apart, especially when she had to drop out of school, have this baby, look after her baby. And she said, once I would have defended Missy, I now joined in the cruelty to Missy. And once she saw Missy kissing her boyfriend, Laura Doyle, the other one, and Karen confronted her, okay? And they made a plan where they were going to get Missy to this Colby Canyon in Angeles National Park. And Karen said Laura picked her up and they drove her off to the woods. And once they got there, they headed by a stream and they made her sit down on this rock and they told her it was going to be good. It was going to be like old times. But Laura got really upset, started screaming, okay? And then Missy died, is what she says. Missy's grandmother told me her body had been found. Hikers had come across the body in the stream. She was face down with a 100-pound log on top of her. I felt sick. Karen said she tried to numb her pain with alcohol. And this is Karen when she was 47 back in 2015. And she said that Missy's hair had been slashed off. She was face down in the stream. She had a 100-pound log on top of her, which prevented her from moving. And when her body was found, Laura and Karen go and console the family. They attend her funeral. She said, I felt like I had an obligation to Missy's family after what I did. As Missy's mom grieved, I consoled her. I felt like I owed it to her. I wanted to look after them. But she does admit she had ulterior motives for helping. She said she wanted to know how the police investigation was going. She wanted to know if there were suspects, what kind of evidence they found. So they were, just getting in with the family. But then Eva decides to tell what she knows, and they end up both getting arrested and then convicted of second-degree murder in the Pasadena Superior Court, March 1990. They were both sentenced to a minimum of 15 years and were released in 2011 and 2012. She is still apparently touring schools and encourages young people not to act like she did, even though she doesn't get paid for it. Now, I don't know that she is still doing. Let's see where she is. Karen Severson. Let's see if she. Let's see. Maybe she'll come on the show. She can't get paid anyway. Where is she? Where is she? I guess she is, I don't know, like with the pandemic and stuff, if she's touring or doing anything, but. And where is Laura? But just Mean Girl stuff, right? Is this? Okay, there's a, let me see what this is. (2003) in the matter of the, oh, this was her parole. So what happened here? Hold on a second. Let's see here. Let me go into the documents over here and see what there is. Okay, so this was her parole. Let me see here. Okay, so this was from October 23rd, 2003, California Institution for Women, Corona, California. And this was subsequent parole consideration hearing for Karen Severson. So present is Karen, of course, her attorney, Rich Pfeiffer, Pat Cannon, the deputy district attorney, and then Irene Avila, Ernie Avila, Chris Avila. Those are all the next of kin, mother and family of Missy. And then there was a witness, observer, and observers there that we don't have to mention their names or not. And then, okay, so let's see, they said, let's see the question. Will the inmate be speaking with us today? Yes. Miss Severson, raise your right hand. They swore her in. Okay. And they say, Miss Severson, you're serving a life term for the participation in the murder of Michelle Avila. Is that correct? Yes, sir, she says. The crime occurred on October 1st, 1985 in Tujunga Canyon. Yes, Karen answers. And they ask her, big Tujunga or little Tujunga? She says, big Tujunga. Big Tujunga, yes. Okay, now if I read this right, and this is the presiding commissioner, Angele, you guys apparently met first at Stonehurst Park. She said, that was our meeting point, yes. And the commissioner says, first meeting point, okay, Shadow Hills. Karen says, yes. Commissioner says, The victim was found on October 4th, 1985 in the creek in the canyon where she apparently had been drowned, and she was held underwater with a log. Did you participate in this crime? Karen says, yes, I did. The commissioner says, and why did you do that? Why? Karen says, wow. I participated for many reasons. First, I resented her. We grew up as children together, and she was like a sister to me, and we vied for attention from the same people. Both our parents, both our, friends, and too often she got more attention than I did, and I resented her for that. And as a young girl, I got pregnant. And though I would spend many times home with her, and she would babysit her younger brother, when it's time for me to ask her to babysit for me, to stay with my child, she wouldn't. She'd rather go out and party, and I resented her for that. And as time went on, I got really angry with her because she was doing things that I couldn't do. I was angry at her, and it was my own situation. And when this happened, the first mistake I made is that I shirked my responsibility to my own daughter, to my family. I chose to hang out with friends instead of being with my family. Hold on, I'm just going to get my drink here. Okay, hold on. It was mistake number one. Second, I invited somebody that I knew hated Missy. I invited this mutual acquaintance. I knew that she hated Missy. That was her enemy at the time, and I knew that. And I knew that if I brought Eva with me, that she would taunt Missy, and I encouraged that, and I participated. I wanted to see Missy go through these things. I wanted to see her suffer. I wanted to see her just be ridiculed. I never wanted her to be killed, never. But I wanted her to go through just a time of belittlement. In my sick little mind, I thought if she sat there and she just felt a little pain, I would feel powerful, and I would have an upper hand, and she wouldn't get to go to the party and get to go have fun. For a moment, I would be the one in power. But the commissioner says, I sit on many of these hearings, and I got to be very honest with you. I still, for some reason, detect a little bit of anger. With Missy, Karen says? And she says, no, with myself. I'm very angry that we're sitting here. I'm very angry that the Avila family is here because of something I did. I'm responsible for this whole thing. None of us would even be here if it wasn't for me. And the commissioner says, what was your participation in taking Missy's life? She says, I encouraged the entire thing. I goaded the girls. I knew that Eva did not like Missy, and I reminded Eva of things that Missy had done to her, and I goaded her. Commissioner says, okay. And Karen says, and when things would start to happen, I encouraged her. The commissioner said, I'm talking about physical. Karen says, physical evidence? The commissioner says, no. Physical participation. And Karen says, well, when we arrived at the site and we got out of the cars, Missy wouldn't get out of the car. She was arguing with Laura, and Laura said it's because Eva was there. And I had physically walked over. I yelled at Missy to get out. Laura suggested we take a walk, I kind of nudged at Missy. Come on, let's take a walk. Let's go. It was not a big deal. And we walked down there. And when she sat down, the belittlement began. I encouraged that. I encouraged Laura to do that. I encouraged Eva. My participation, I would have to say I was the ringleader. I was the one who stood there and encouraged everybody to do and say things. It was my way that I could stand there and be in power, over these other women, over these other young girls at the time, and Missy. There were 3 of you besides Missy, the commissioner asked. Karen says, 2 others besides Missy. There were 4 of us, including Missy. 3 of you. Okay. Yes, Karen says. Hold on a second. Is that why is that ending there? Hold on, what is this? Oh wait, hold on, this is okay, here, hold on a second. Here's her version of it. Oh no, that's a story. That's fiction she made. Where is her words? How come they didn't put any more of that? Parole, let me see here. I wanted to read the rest of that. Let's see here. So I guess there was murder on the first, killing among friends. Oh, here's something. Is this it? How come she didn't put the rest there? Let me see. How long? Huh. Okay. Oh gosh, that scared me. All right. So, I mean, I don't want, she got, let me see here. I don't think she got, she wasn't paroled. They didn't let her out on that one because that was 2003. So let's see if we can get Karen Severson parole hearing. Okay, so she was denied parole many times here because she, let's see, when she was, get out of here, please. What is this? Okay. Would you get away from me with this thing? A woman who helped beat and drown a teenage friend 12 years ago in Angeles National Forest and then moved in with the deceased girl's mother, pretending to assist in catching the killers, was denied parole in her first try at freedom. So she was denied. This was 1997. She was denied many times. Three-member panel of the Board of Prison Terms ruled that Karen Severson, 29, is still a danger to society. The decision was based on the seriousness of her crime. She has not really dealt with what really happened, said Tamia Hope, the deputy district attorney who tried the case and argued against the release. The board's concern was that the crime was calculated. Karen Severson and Laura Doyle were sentenced in March of 1990 to 15 years to life in prison for the second-degree murder and the death of Michelle Missy Avila, a 17-year-old Arletta girl, in a fight over a boyfriend. They said Avila's body was found with a 100-pound log holding her head under the water in a forest creek in October of 1995, but the case was not solved until 3 years later. At the time of the murder, the three teens were childhood friends who liked to party frequently at Colby Canyon, the remote area where the body was found. Avila and Severson had been transferred from San Fernando High School to San Fernando Mission, a continuation school. Prosecutors alleged during the 1990 trial that on the day of the slaying, Karen Severson and Missy drove to their hangout, followed by Laura Doyle and Eva Chirambolo, a fourth friend who was not prosecuted, in a second car. The four then walked down an embankment to a creek. At some point, an argument about a boyfriend with whom both girls had dated broke out between Karen and Missy. The girls attacked Missy, cutting off her hair. Then they held her head under 8 inches of water until she drowned, leaving her pinned by the 4-foot log. When Avila was reported missing, Karen and Laura cooperated with the police. Laura explained that she had left Missy at Branford Park, telling her that she went with 2 young men while she went to get gas for their car. The 3 were gone when she came back, she said. After the funeral, Karen moved in with Irene Avila, Missy's mom. Over the next 3 years, she and Laura gave conflicting stories. At one point, Laura said she had left Missy at a church, not the park. Investigators said they suspected the girls knew something that they were not telling, though they did not suspect that they were the actual killers. The girls were finally arrested when Eva, who prosecutors say returned to the car before the actual murder took place, came forward in July of 1988. The case inspired a novel and a television movie. Okay, and then she was eligible for parole in 4 more years, which was also denied. And let's see here. Let's see. It looks like Laura Ann Doyle, one of the San Fernando Valley's women convicted of murdering their childhood best friend, was released from prison in the week of December of 2012. Laura Doyle and Karen Severson were sentenced to 15 years to life for drowning Arletta teen in a mountain stream 27 years ago. I hate her, I hate her, I hate her, said Missy's mother, Irene Avila, 72 years old, of Lake Balboa, before Laura Doyle's release at 10 a.m. from the Valley State Prison for Women in Chowchilla, 250 miles north of Los Angeles. She did nothing but damage my life. Both should have suffered the death penalty. They are free. My daughter's in the ground. Karen Severson, 45, was paroled in December of 2011 over the objections of Los Angeles prosecutors. How these 2 teenage girls coaxed Missy to a remote Big Tujunga Canyon wood in 1985, never to return, became the grist for blogs, books, and TV movies starring Patty Duke. 2 true crime TV shows are now in the works. They'd grown up on the same block in Arletta. They dressed the same. They dressed the same Barbies. They listened to the same 80s bands, and they flirted with the same boys. Let's see here. Missy was Loyal to her friend, she dreamed of becoming a physical therapist. October 1st, 1985 is that fateful day when Karen and Laura drove their Missy out into the Angels National Forest, where they accused her of having slept with their boyfriends. Then they lashed out on her. They shoved Missy's head into an 8-inch stream. Hikers found her 3 days later. Her face was battered. Her waist-length hair was torn out in chunks. Her neck submerged beneath a 100-pound log. And afterwards, Laura Doyle mailed a sympathy card and $20 to Missy's mom, and Karen and her 2-year-old daughter moved in with Irene Avila and volunteered to help hunt for the killer. In July of 1988, Eva Chirambolo, who had gone on the 45-minute drive into the mountains, came forward to tell police the truth about Missy's murder. She was a star prosecution witness who claimed she hadn't followed the girls into the forest. She was not charged. During the 2002 parole hearing, Laura Doyle admitted to coaxing green-eyed Missy into the water and killing her. She also accused Karen of being the ringleader, though Karen would only later admit to planning to torment her. The Los Angeles County prosecutors familiar with the case were not available Monday. For decades, they battled their release. Our position was that this crime was a deliberate crime, well-planned torture and execution of Missy, and needed to be treated as such. Asked if she could name 3 people from whom she could seek forgiveness, a tearful Laura Doyle listed Irene Avila, Doyle's mother, and herself, but not Missy. She said if she could do it all over again, she'd switch places with Missy so that she could endure the pain. Laura Doyle was paroled somewhere in Southern California, though he didn't know the location. For Missy's mom, there's never a day without torment. The only one thing I can say about Laura, she told the truth about what happened. During the hearing, she said, "We planned it, we did it," Irene Avila said. "My God, there's never any closure," said. "All I can say is, girls, watch out whom you trust." That's what her mother said. All I can say is, girls, watch out whom you trust. Mean Girls. Mean Girls. Bucktooth Witch, how are you? Hello, Sunkissed. Mike, we go into Zoom and watch their Carolyn streams. Oh, to watch that movie? Yeah, if we can find it somewhere. Do you know where it's playing, Nicole? What video reel is what I read? Yes, she moved in with the victim's mother. Yes, video reel. Yes. You heard right. Right, and she befriended the mother, absolutely. And her daughter moved in there too. Denise says, I don't believe she has remorse. Didn't sound like it, did it? On that part of the parole thing that we read, no, it didn't sound like it. Let me see if I can even see if it's where it is playing. Hold on a minute. What did we say? Murder Among Friends? With Patty Duke. It's a very old movie. Used to be on all the time. I remember, I can still see the woman's kitchen and everything else. Let's see. It looks like it's playing on Facebook. There's a link here. I don't know. Is that the movie? Let me see. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like it's playing on Facebook. Though I don't know how, I don't know if that's the movie or that's a preview. What the heck is that? No, it looks like it's the movie. I don't know how well it's playing. Huh. Hold on, wait, where am I? I'm trying to find you guys again. See, I lost you again. There you are. I've never watched a movie. That's new to me. Yeah, I just saw it on there. So anyway, well, it's been on Lifetime. It's been on a long time. It's a very, very old movie. It's an extremely old movie. Extremely old. And let me see here. Oh, why is this not going down? What is up with this? Uh-oh, what's going on with that? Hi, Kathy. How are you? So, how many here have seen that movie? Yeah, no, it's an old movie. Well, because this happened a long time ago, and they used to do true crime movies, and Patty Duke's not even alive anymore. I mean, we can try to do a member movie, a Patreon movie night if you want, and try to watch it, being that we just discussed it. I can put the... Would you like to do that? If you'd like to do that, I don't know. We can see it is looks like it. There is something on Facebook where we can try to watch it.
Right here.
What? Oh, I can't do that.
No, I'm just telling you right here. Look. See?
I'm sorry.
See.
Yeah, I can't look at that right now. Yeah, we didn't get any invoices out for the last. We're very behind. Very behind.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. I will. Okay. So I guess you've seen it, Linda. I guess I'll open it up to the members if you. It's on Netflix too, Denise. If it's Netflix too, I have Netflix. I have Netflix. Are you sure it's on Netflix? Let me see. I'll check it out. I'll put the number in anyway. But it's. I'll put the number in. I'm going to put it in the members post. I'm also going to put it on Patreon for the Patreons. And if you can't see the community post and you're not in the Patreon, then you can email me. Create post. channel members. Okay, that's there. Let me put it in Patreon. Okay. All right, that's there. So it's in there. Oh, here comes Deb. Is that Deb on the move?
How you feel, sweetheart?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi. Jimmy was yakking to me. Hi. Hi, Deb on the move. Hi, Heartmate Wise. Okay. So let me get back to the thing to see if anybody has. Who's this coming in? Admit.
Hope everyone's having a good night.
Yeah, I hope so. Hi, Tammy Lark. Heartmate Wise. Hi, Nicole. Okay. Hi, Heartmate Wise. Okay. Uh-oh. Somebody has their YouTube on. I mean, yeah. Let's see, that's somebody.
It's not me.
I thought I heard. Oh, that was the somebody else's.
Good night.
Yeah, I hope so. Hi, Tammy Lark. Heartmate Wise.
Hi.
Hi, Nicole. Lark, I think you have
Hi, guys.
your YouTube playing. Hi. Hi, Denise. Your Netflix is slow opening. Oh, I saw it on Facebook, Denise.
I didn't know you could watch movies on Facebook. That's really cool.
Well, I didn't know it either. When I just put it in, it just came up.
Well, you know they do have those videos, that video section of Facebook
Yeah.
that I sometimes get caught up in.
Yeah,
so
maybe it is.
I like that.
I think you can actually watch movies and content with other people on Facebook now. Like when you talk to
Well,
somebody through the
we
messenger.
tried that though. We tried that once, and I uploaded a movie there, and it wouldn't let us watch it. That's why we finally realized we had to do Zoom movie nights, because it kept saying that it was copyright. It was horrible. It only let me view it. Wouldn't let anybody else view it with us. It was terrible.
That's crazy.
So
That is
now we'll
crazy.
see how
Too
this
much.
goes. Netflix keeps going out for you, Kevin? We'll see. Let me see here. I forgot to put the number in the moderator. Majiggy. Who's that? Julianne, come on. Where's the moderator thing? Come on. Where's Deb Vancouverton? Did anybody see Deb Vancouverton yet?
I didn't see her tonight, which was odd. She's usually here.
Mm-hmm. She might. No, she comes in. I was on her a little early sometimes. I was on a lot early. Okay. That's that. Newest. Okay. Rubbity Bob's coming in. See if anybody's emailing. Sometimes I was on a lot early.
Kia ora, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, Robbity Bob.
Hi, Rubbity Bob.
I just got home from work. I had to rush home. So I was listening to my phone, and now I can come into movie night.
Yay, I'm glad you're here.
Bye-bye.
Hope you had a good day, Robin. Was work good today?
Yeah, lots of work. 5-year-olds, so you can imagine.
Yes. Were they minding their P's and Q's for you today?
No.
Oh, no. Sometimes you have days where it's like, wow, everybody was so good, right?
No, the children are very unsettled because we've had lots of sickness and lots of children have been very sick, and then they come back and then they get sick again.
Yeah.
My children were sick since March, since they ended the mask mandate. They just stopped getting sick about a month ago.
Okay, well, ours are still getting sick. They're getting the flu now. That's a big flu thing going through now.
Poor babies. Oh, man. That's hard, isn't it? Especially like when you have a kid in class and they get sick and they're really sick. They have a high fever and you just can't wait for the parents to get there. I always worried so much.
Yeah, we're lucky we can send them to the office and the office people look after them.
Yeah.
Nancy. Oh, Nancy's here. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I can see.
Can
a
you
little
see?
bit.
You can see?
Oh, one eye. I'm one eye blind.
One eye's
one eye blind. Well,
better than
that's
none.
yeah. One eye's better, definitely better than none.
Oh, Nancy, so nice to hear you.
Yeah, I'm having a bit of problems today. I've noticed a lot of pressure in my eyeball, so I'm going to give them a call tomorrow.
Did they give you the drops to take, whatever the lantanoprost or those little drops?
Yeah, it's the pink cap and the gray cap, and then I have to.
Oh no! Oh, guys, please pray for Brenda. Kids Galore 9. She's in the hospital ICU due to a fall. She has a brain bleed, a subdural hematoma, a fractured wrist,
Oh my gosh.
a huge hematoma on her upper arm, a major bruising on her face, and a hurt pinky. I'm in tremendous pain and need lots of prayer. Thank you, friends. Oh, we are praying for you, Brenda.
Praying for you, Brenda.
Oh my gosh.
Brenda, oh my goodness, please, you have a speedy
I
recovery.
hope you can hear
We're
us.
praying.
Yeah. That's horrible.
A lot of falls lately. I had a pretty big one the other day.
Really?
Just,
Yeah.
sometimes it happens. It's just, I'm praying for you. That's awful.
Oh, gosh, that's horrible. Okay.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, Linda. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Linda.
Everybody that's popping
Hi,
in here.
Hart.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
Sassy Dorsey, you coming into the
Good.
movie? Let me
Today.
see.
Yeah, come on.
Hi, everyone.
Linda. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Lisa.
Lisa H. Hi.
Hey, Lisa, Mike, are you gonna try? Are you gonna try to come watch?
Hold on, I got the wrong message.
Did I beat Darcy? She's
What?
the one who called me and said there was a movie.
Do you hate Darcy? What'd you say?
No, I said, did I beat her in here?
Oh, I just saw her in general, and I just trying to
Yeah,
get
she
the
called me
number
and
in
said it
here.
was
I don't know what
movie
the heck
night.
is going on. Here, hold on. Where's the
She was the first
How
one to
is
say
everyone?
yes. Good. How are you?
Oh,
Good.
Sarah Darcy's so good. She remembered to let you know. That's awesome.
She did, a heart made wise. She's sweet.
wrong one here?
She gave me some recommendations for movies too.
Oh,
Well, that's neat. Maybe you'll
wait,
share
what
them
did
with
I
us.
just do with it? Okay.
Yeah.
I am going crazy. Where is freaking?
I'll spend more time trying to decide when I want to watch on Netflix than the
I
length of the
think-
movie I
oh.
watch.
Oh, I know. Takes me forever to find something sometimes.
Oh, that's Sassy Darcy. Okay. Sharon, are you coming in?
Hi, Julianne. I know might not be able to talk, but I just wanted to say hi.
Quit talking about me.
Hey, Sassy, Darcy.
It took me a while to figure out where the number would be.
Hi, Tammy.
I'm getting confused
Marky.
here.
See Dandy in chat. Hi. Hi, Kevin. Love you guys.
And Nicole.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm
Nicole-
here.
Hi.
Who's Kimberly? I don't know who.
I see Linda's here, Lark,
Who is
Nicole,
Kimberly?
Deb.
Could
Department
whoever
Wise,
is Kimberly, could you
Dr.
please let me
Bob,
know who
Nancy.
you are? Because I don't
And hello,
recognize the
everyone.
name. Would you please let me know? Hold on, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna have to. Okay, guys, I'm going to try to disconnect from here. All right, we're gonna stop. Hi, Dandy. How are you? Good to see you. All right, I'm going to say goodnight to you guys in the chat there. I hope that members, Patreons, you'll join us over here. And we'll see you tomorrow. I love you guys. Thank you for watching.
Love and prayers, everyone.
Okay.
Peace,
yeah,
love, and
prayers
light,
for all the
everyone.
anyone, yeah. And
Love
everybody
you
that needs
all.
prayers. We'll see you. Okay, let me go to the other thing, and then I'm going to see who.